Back
in 1988.
Touchstone Pictures, a division of the Disney company, released a movie called Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Much to Disney's surprise, the movie was a huge hit, grossing $329.8 million, the second highest gross of that year, and a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. And it also spurred a bunch of short movies before the feature-length movie in theaters, kind of like the Pixar shorts. It was only a matter of time until Roger found his way into Disney theme parks. And that's what we're going to be talking about today in my new series, Character Presence in the Parks. And the first character we are looking at is Roger Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out in
1988.
But he wasn't immediately put in the parks. But after 1989, when Hollywood Studios opened, that all changed. Hollywood Studios, not MGM. Well, it was called MGM back then, but it was Roger Rabbit Studios back then. Everywhere you looked was Roger Rabbit. He had a portion of the backlot tour that looked like the final scene. I call it the Acme Warehouse. In that portion, there were also visual gags like the ton of bricks and the Acme magnets. The Acme Warehouse wasn't the only place you could see Roger Rabbit. No. Not the only place you could see him in the park. He also had a handprint outside of the Chinese Theater, then known as Great Movie Ride, now known as Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, that was put there on opening day because a lot of the characters like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, Roger Rabbit, Rocketeer had all handprints out front of the Chinese Theater, like the real Chinese Theater. They have celebrity handprints there. Another thing is, if you go past the Hollywood and Vine restaurant and look to the left
of the restaurant sign, you will see the cutout of Roger Rabbit bursting through the window blinds. It's also the office of Eddie Valiant, and there we go, there they are. You can see the burst of Roger and then Eddie Valiant Private Investigation. And also it goes quite nice because the Hollywood and Vine restaurant is 30s and 40s themed, and Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, takes place in the 30s. So, yeah, good theming there.
In the glory days of MGM Studios, it had a lot of screen-used props for movies. That's what it was supposed to be. I look back into movies, and on the backlot especially, they had a lot of props. Well, in the Backlot Express they had props too, because they had the Toon Patrol vehicle that was on display for a few years. Also, the skeleton of Benny the Cab, which is tucked away in the corner of the restaurant.
What I mean by skeleton is that they actually had a car. Well, it almost looks like a go-kart. But Bob Haskins, the guy who played Eddie, would drive it.
And with the magic of editing, it looked like he was driving a tune. He looked like he was driving Benny the Cab. There were some more props in the Acme Warehouse in the backlot portion that guests could actually touch. Yeah, that was probably a mistake, because it probably got really, really dirty. Like Eddie's car, you could see and touch, and you couldn't drive it, of course, because it wouldn't run, and you couldn't get into it, but you could touch it. The Toon Patrol, with the cutout weasels, a lot of people took pictures there. I would have, but I wasn't alive back then, unfortunately. And 2 trolley cars that were used in the film. So, you're probably sick of me talking about Roger Rabbit and MGM. So now I take you to Magic Kingdom.
The surprise celebration parade was happening. And Roger Rabbit had his own float, balloon and all.
He also started another parade in Magic Kingdom, my favorite nighttime parade of all time. You can see a video of it, a history of it, right there. Spectre Magic. He led the band float. So with all this fame and popularity, I think it's time to give Roger a ride, don't you? Well, Disney agreed with both of us. Because they wanted to give him a ride. And not just a ride. They wanted to give him a whole land. Yes, a whole Toontown land where Sunset Boulevard is now. Complete with 3 rides. First was Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin,
which actually opened at Disneyland and is somehow still operating. Herman ride, where you were his stunt double and went racing down the hallway in a baby cradle. Probably inspired from the short Tummy Trouble.
The last one was going to be a runaway trolley ride, and you guessed it, you would be on a trolley and it was loose in the streets of San Francisco. Unfortunately, this land never came to be, and the reason was money, because money always comes first, and 2 men named Steven Spielberg and Michael Eisner. Roger Rabbit was partially owned by Disney. Amblin Entertainment also owned him. If you don't know, Amblin Entertainment is owned by Steven Spielberg. So, Michael Eisner and Steven Spielberg couldn't come to an agreement on the Roger and theme parks issue. So, the result, Michael Eisner pulled the power move and pulled Roger Rabbit from all Disney theme parks, and Toontown was never made. It's a shame that Roger never got his Toontown, but you can still find Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin in Disneyland, and
Roger Rabbit recently made an appearance at Disneyland After Dark 80s Night, which was just last year.
But it is sad that Roger never got a ride in Walt Disney World. But let's not be sad about that. How about let's rewatch the video, celebrate Roger Rabbit again, and let me know if you've enjoyed this video, because I would like to do more in this series, but I know I sound like a Minecraft gamer from like 2014, but if you want me to continue the series, let me know by hitting the like button. That sounds like such a YouTuber thing, sorry. And consider subscribing, it really would mean a lot if you did so. And with all that said, I will see you in the next one. Have a magical day.